There has been no update on the Ripple case, although the SEC recently dismissed 2 other cases against the Bitcoin industry. What's happening? Why is Ripple in limbo when the SEC is concluding other cases? We'll examine the wider picture and delve into potential behind-the-scenes activities in today's video. We'll also look more closely at the most recent market crash and its implications for cryptocurrency. For more than 380 days, I've been trading cryptocurrency successfully, completing each month with a profit. My followers have copied my trades and made over $29,000 in profits in the previous 90 days alone. Do you wish to view my confirmed statistics? Get started duplicating my trades for free right now by clicking the first link in the profile description. I'm excited to tell you why XRP is doing something so unexpected right now. XRP is demonstrating some quite remarkable endurance in the face of the ongoing cryptocurrency crisis. You'll likely be as shocked as I was when you see how well XRP is holding its own versus Bitcoin. This is a story worth listening to, I assure you. Let's start this video by discussing 2 significant SEC cases that recently came to a close. And I understand what a lot of you are thinking at the moment. When will the Ripple SEC story come to a close? Rest assured, we will address that. Let's start by discussing the cases that recently made it to the end. The SEC just concluded its Gemini probe. Quite simple, isn't it? In the first place, there was only an investigation into the possibility of filing a complaint. Why did this conclude prior to the Ripple case, given that they have now chosen to close it completely? Simply put, not much was going on. In essence, the SEC threatened to sue you, but ultimately decided against it. It appears that the SEC is reversing course and saying, hey, we're not going to sue you, right? Really, there is nothing left to sort out. The SEC basically acknowledged that we didn't have a good reason for this in the first place. The decision to refrain from suing a cryptocurrency corporation that has been attempting to follow the law appears to be an example of a rogue government going too far. Easy enough, isn't it? This is where things become fascinating, though. Additionally, the SEC has made the decision to end its inquiry into the Tron Foundation. This one was a completely different animal. The accusations were far more grave. Even fraud was allegedly involved. Because of the levels of intricacy and advancements already made, this case carried a lot more weight. Jeremy Hogan, a legal expert, offered some insightful commentary on this unexpected development. In contrast to the Ripple SEC battle, he said that this issue is still pending a definitive verdict, making it considerably simpler to settle. He underlined that it was first in, last out. Since Ripple's case started first, it was the most developed, and of course the one that took the most work to complete. Many people are angry that while other cases are coming to an end, Ripple's is still dragging on, calling it unjust and even absurd. Let's face it though, Ripple's battle with the SEC isn't just any case. It's the case, and it's almost over, with a spectacular ending in sight. There will be a settlement soon, and I think XRP and Ripple will both gain a lot from it. This is the most complicated and multi-layered case, and it will be worth the wait when it is all said and done. There's a lot going on right now, and while I understand that some people may be thinking, oh no, this could go on for weeks, please listen to me. I'd be willing to wait months if it meant that Ripple in the US would obtain clarity. I don't believe it will take that long, though. In fact, given that the Tron case is being closed, I think this is all coming to a close really rapidly. There were probably some dubious activities with Tron, let's face it. The worst part is that they are closing all of the cases. You can assume they're claiming house if they're wrapping up the Tron case, which contained claim fraud. And keep in mind that Ripple's case has no allegations of fraud. A bit more patience, please. My conservative estimate? The Ripple case will be finished in 3 to 4 weeks. The interesting element is that they are now closing cases virtually every day. Next up is Ripple, and I'm predicting that this will be the final major study. I have no question that this case is coming to a close, but we'll soon find out how the chronology plays out. At this time, it seems certain. The true mystery now is how it ends. Will a settlement be reached? A reprimand? A sort of accord, perhaps? The key question is that. However, if it settles, it might be the most promising and optimistic development for Ripple's future. With a settlement, Ripple controls the terms and establishes the parameters for the future. I have the unshakable impression that Ripple and the SEC are already engaged in extensive negotiations, working behind the scenes to reach a resolution and lay out potential future developments. Other lawsuits appear to be languishing in the interim, interrupting their momentum. Those cases are now being dismissed, even though Ripple may have been on course to defeat the SEC and obtain some much-needed clarity. All of us are hoping that Ripple can maintain its successes, resolve any difficulties, and come out of the experience with clear rules for navigating the SEC going ahead. The remainder of the cryptocurrency community is still waiting for guidance and is in a state of limbo. Therefore, if Ripple can provide clarity, it will be a huge victory that is well worth the extra time it takes to complete. However, let's take a brief break and explore another, equally fascinating topic. Today was the first meeting of our Digital Assets Subcommittee, and, to be honest, it was a complete bore. There is a lot of circle talk, nothing noteworthy. The committee's head, Cynthia Lummis, continues to maintain the view that Bitcoin isn't a cryptocurrency. In fact, she reminded everyone that digital assets like Bitcoin are still in their infancy. My answer? Please, let's not pretend that Bitcoin isn't a digital asset. The irony? She continues referring to digital assets and Bitcoin as though they are entirely different concepts. However, she made no mention of Bitcoin at all during the entire conversation. Traditional. In passing, she referred to it as a digital asset. Really, it's so absurd. Cynthia Lummis has never been a favorite of mine. She has always been regarded as a staunch Bitcoin enthusiast. Surprisingly, she continues to steer that story. But let's face it, this subcommittee on digital assets is hardly producing anything noteworthy. I thought of streaming the event, as I said in my live stream earlier, and wow, am I happy I didn't. For those who are still unfamiliar with cryptocurrencies, it appeared to be little more than a crash course. It is tremendously wonderful that these advancements are taking place. We're not moving quickly enough, and I don't want anyone to think I'm being pessimistic. To be honest, we're traveling at 1,000 times the pace I ever thought possible. It's a significant win just to have a subcommittee on digital assets that is actively addressing cryptocurrencies. It is really optimistic. This is not to be interpreted as me saying, oh no, this is a big problem. Why wasn't the Ripple case brought up? What prevented them from discussing XRP? My takeaway isn't that at all. We're witnessing the beginnings of an endeavor to educate a group of people who are mainly ignorant about cryptocurrencies, about this intricate and constantly changing field. Let's be honest, it's difficult to understand these stuff. We're talking about politicians attempting to grasp crypto, many of whom hardly grasp the fundamentals. It's okay if it takes them a long time. The important thing is that they solve it correctly. More politicians stepping in and suppressing this sector before they really comprehend it is the last thing we need. To be honest, it's not a huge concern if our main challenge is simply bringing them up to speed. I completely support them investing the time necessary to fully immerse themselves, learn this material, and truly understand it. To be honest though, is Cynthia Lummis implying that Bitcoin isn't a cryptocurrency? That isn't really beneficial. Fortunately, she has considerably more knowledgeable individuals on her side, such as David Sachs, who genuinely understand this field, so there's nothing to worry about. This burger is just a gigantic nothing burger. There you have it, since I know some of you were interested in that. Oh, and here's a brief update before we get into the pricing charts. The CEO of Bank of America stated earlier today that stablecoins are unavoidable. More intriguingly, he suggested that, if regulators approve, the bank may introduce its own stablecoin backed by the US dollar. I instantly thought of Ripple when I saw this. This appears to be heavily influenced by Bank of America, a longtime Ripple partner. Fascinatingly, David Schwartz made a significant revelation shortly before the Ripple SEC action started. Ripple was collaborating with a leading bank to produce a stablecoin. Schwartz acknowledged that the SEC case abruptly ended the sale, but the bank's name was never revealed. This is the exciting part, though. It's difficult to see a Bank of America stablecoin operating on the XRP ledger, with Ripple at the forefront if one does materialize. After all, this collaboration has been strong for many years, and this might be a significant change. Even prior to the SEC case, Ripple was setting the stage for Tier 1 stable